Hi, this is instructions on how to use the TraceGit program. So we're able to go and draw simple shapes. And when we connect the dots and close the loop, it will fill it in to make the polygon. So here I've drawn some simple polygons. Down here we have some magic wands. The first one tries to make things regular, but notice that the sizes are different. The second wand tries to make things regular with the same edge length. Up here we have an erase button. We can erase some of the points if we'd like. I'm going to draw in another one, make it regular. I can also move points. Say that I had this point and I wanted it there or there. I can move them around wherever I'd like. I can even overlap 2 points, and then those 2 points are joined together. So we can have several points joined together. If you want to separate some points, this exploding points will separate them. So if I explode that, now they're separate points again, so I can move them apart. If I wanted, I could draw another polygon in between them. Now if I hit make regular, it tries to make all 3 of them regular at once, but since they're sharing these points, notice that this triangle isn't yet regular. But if I keep on tapping make regular, through several iterations, it gets closer and closer and closer to being regular polygons. What we can also do, we can move points to be in a certain location and then lock them in that location. Like I'm going to lock this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now if I try to make it regular, it does its best, but since those 4 points are locked, it can't make it completely regular. And I can just toggle, I click them again, and now they're unlocked. So now they're free to move around again. If you'll notice these green bars here, if I move the root, it just moves where the green bars are placed. The other ones have to do with how much does it translate, in which direction. So this is a translation vector, and I could translate that to wherever I want, and the other one is our other translation vector. Here on the screen, you'll notice that we have some buttons to pan back and forth, and some buttons to zoom in or out. So those are the basic control buttons shown on the screen. I'm going to refresh the screen just so that I can start over to show you some of the menu buttons. Under File, Load Image, I can choose a picture. And so there's a picture in the back of my background. The reason I called it TraceGit is I can trace some picture. So I'm just going to start tracing some of these polygons. And I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and close the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and close the loop. That got kind of messy, so I'm going to move this one to a better place. This is such a simple design that I could actually easily just draw the whole thing by hand. Instead, I'm going to show you some of the other tricks. Notice that when I move around, down here it says coordinates. So up at the far left, we're at 0, 0. Here I'm at about 100, 100. Here I'm at about close to 200 and 0. So I can find the location. If I move on to some of these points I've already clicked, it tells me this is point 1, and the 0, 0 means it's not moved any of the translation vectors. So I can look at the different points. First off, I'm going to save this, and I'm going to call this top, the file name. And then I go up to File, and I could save the SVG, the picture of the thing I've just drawn, or the tiling. I'm going to save the tiling. And I'm going to move down, and I'm going to look at this coordinate. This is at 380, 377 raw points. Under Tools, I have various transforms. I can rotate around the origin. I can rotate 180 degrees around some point. I can reflect over the y-axis. I could translate. I'm going to choose to rotate 180 degrees around some point. And the point I'm going to rotate around is this one, 380, 377. So let's rotate, and I'll say, what's the x-coordinate? 380, y-coordinate 377. And it flips it upside down. It just rotates around that point. I'm going to call this bottom. And I'm going to save it just to be safe that it doesn't get lost. I didn't actually have to save it, but I do that just to keep it safe. You'll notice I'm allowed to load tilings and merge tilings. Since I already have the bottom part, I'm going to merge in the top part. Merge tiling, the top part. And it sticks the top part right next to it. I'm going to go and test. I'm going to move these around. Hey, those points are glued together. Those points are glued together. Those are together. Because if the points are close enough, then it says, oh, these must really be the same points. Sometimes when you merge, the points aren't quite close enough, and then you have to manually make them match. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to move my translation vectors. And you can see sort of the ghost image of the thing coming in. I'm going to put it where it looks like those overlap, right here. Now when I move this one, notice they're not really glued together, those points. So I'm going to move that point on top of the other, and now they're glued together. They both share the same point. Same thing over here. Are these together? Not yet. Now they are. I want to do the same thing with the other translation vector. So I start bringing it closer and closer, and uh-oh, I'm running into myself. And notice that we have the two hexagons that are about to overlap. I only want one hexagon, so I'm going to have to erase one of these hexagons. So erase, erase, erase. Now we're down to just one. Now when I pull this in, I can set this hexagon to be right next to the other. And same thing as before, I'm going to move the points around, glue them together. And now we have all these filled in. So I've filled in the whole tiling except for this large 10-sided figure. I'm going to draw that in now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you'll notice that when I go to close it here, I choose to pick on my starting point. You'll notice that one of my points here didn't match up with what I was aiming at. That happens sometimes. So then you just move the points so they overlap. Now if I hit Make Regular, it makes it regular. I can change this to the whole tiling, and now I could go up and save the tiling or save the SVG file. Under Help, if you've been able to find this program, you've probably found that already. We do have a link to the GitHub source code, and we have a beta extended version. Happy tiling!